Hello, let me begin with a question most economic systems cannot answer. What is the value of a person who contributes but is never recorded? In today's world, value is measured narrowly, money. If you earn it, you are visible. And if you don't, you are invisible. But this is incomplete because across Africa and across most of the developing world, value is being created every day, quietly. A mechanic repairs a friend's car without payment. A neighbor gives a piece of land to a place of worship without invoice. A surgeon performs surgery for someone who cannot afford it. A trader extends goods on trust. A family gives what they have to support another. We call it kindness, but economically it is value. This is not charity. This is economic activity. But it has a critical limitation. It has no memory. And value without memory has no power. This is the real failure, not lack of value, but the lack of system to capture it. Because what is not recorded cannot be verified. What is not verified cannot be trusted. And what cannot be trusted cannot scale. So everything collapses into one question. Do you have money? And if the answer is no, the system stops. Because the world is not empty, it is under-coordinated. Across the global economy, vast amount of value remains idle. Skills without deployment, time without structure, tools without usage, spaces without coordination, human capacity without connection. Not because they are not needed, but because there is no system to connect them. This is not scarcity, it is dormant abundance. Consider this. The global informal economy generates more than $1 trillion every year. In many developing economies, this represents more than half the total economic activity. These values remain unrecorded, unverified, and unusable at scale. And even informal systems, ideas, research, innovation does not translate to real economic activity. It is not because they lack value, but because they lack conversion. So we have built a world where value exists, but they do not move. This is the gap. This is where the new economic layer begins, the kindness economy, not as sentiment, but as infrastructure. A system that captures value beyond money, where contribution is recorded, participation is stored, and effort is remembered. Through a structured interface, the kindness statement. Just as the bank statement tracks money, the kindness statement tracks value. Who contributed, how they contributed, and where value was created. And from these emerge a new asset, the kindness capital. And through contribution, stored over time and accumulated instead of lost. But the system does not stop there. Once value is captured and stored, it can move. An economy begins when value can move. Transferability. Value can now be exchanged, referenced, applied. And alongside this, measurement emerges. We begin to see who created value, how value is created, and how value flows. A new form of wealth becomes visible, not based only on possession, but on contribution. This is economic identity, and this is already happening in Oye through Ogadonet, where contributions are captured, structured, and converted to real outcomes. The Oye Specialist Hospital is a proof that value, when contributed, becomes infrastructure. And as these systems begins to grow, value begins to move at scale. So a wave begins to form, and that is a wave of value, flowing across people, across community, and across systems. And as it moves, it begins to solve real problems. Housing, healthcare, food, not only through government, but through coordinated participation, reducing idleness, unlocking productivity, and expanding inclusion. Because when value flows, abundance follows. This is the shift from scarcity to coordination, from charity to participation, from invincible efforts to measurable contribution. So perhaps poverty in many communities and nations of the world is not the absence of value, but the absence of systems that allows values to move. And once the movement begins, everything changes. Because the future economy will not be built by money alone. It will be built by systems that captures value, stores contributions, measures impact, enables exchange, and scale trust. This is a kindness economy and is our pathway to abundance. I am Segun Oke, the abundance evangelist. Thank you for thinking with me. We are building this together, and if this resonates with you, drop a comment. I'll read them. We are building this understanding together, perhaps through a new wave of value. Do well to check ogadonate.com and you can see the link below. Thank you and hope to see you in our next episode. Thank you.